Finally, I brought you again to my channel after ages, so welcome again.
It's been a little while. I know I've been on here before, but...
¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal?
Muy bien, muy bien. Pero mi español ahora no es tan bien.
Perfecto.
No es perfecto.
Está bien, está bien. I brought you here because one of the things I want to bring up is how actually Sweden has changed you, because you've been here for last 5 years.
Yeah.
You went through different stages of your adaptation or integration here. You changed your career, you changed the city, you've done a lot.
Yeah.
Which is super admiring. The first question I'm gonna ask you is, how did it feel to change your career? Why did you change your career?
To change my career. So I always had this like dream of being able to work from anywhere and be able to like have this digital nomad lifestyle. Like before I even moved to Sweden, when I was like dating a Swedish girl back in the US, I had it on my mind of like, I'm together with somebody that's from a completely different country. So for me, it's going to be hard if I want to continue to see this person to have like a normal job in America where I grew up, because we're never going to be able to be together. So with that, and also seeing her do all this traveling and stuff, I got inspired. My whole goal was like, all right, I want to figure out a way to make a living online. But at the same time, I was doing my master's in teaching.
A bit of a contradiction.
A bit of a contradiction, and it was basically like I studied sports science in college. And with that, I basically couldn't do anything. I could be like a personal trainer, or I could do more school and become like a physical therapist or a teacher. And I was coaching like soccer at the time, and my parents were like, you love coaching, we're both teachers. If you want to do your master's in teaching, we'll pay for it. It's a 1-year program and you can get a job as a teacher. So I was like, okay, why not? Like, I'll have a job at the end of it, 100%. So I went down that path, but then after meeting this like Swedish girl, I was like halfway through my teaching program. I'm like, is this really what I want to do? I always sort of had this mindset of like wanting to have a career in my own business or working online where I'm able to have flexibility, where I'm able to travel. But ultimately it takes time to like build up the skills and actually do those things. So it's great to have that teaching in the beginning, and then coming to Sweden was really easy because they really need teachers in Sweden, and I was with a master's in teaching, so it actually
it's like a gap, right?
Yeah,
you know,
it like helped me with the best of both worlds. But like to get out of teaching and stop teaching, it was like it was the right time when I like built up the skills from like making YouTube videos, like building other like online businesses. Then I had like the confidence to like go to an interview for like a marketing job and be like, hey, this is what I built up on my own.
I still remember that.
They told me that like we have people with MBAs and business degrees and marketing degrees applying for this position, and you're a teacher. Like, why would we give the job to you?
I have the resource.
Exactly, and yeah, would you rather the person that studied it or did it without studying and figured it out on their own? So, and the rest is history. Now I've been working with only marketing for 3 years.
Sweden actually helped you to, you know, find your new way of like developing yourself and growing and like building up your new skill set.
Yeah, totally. And I also think like there's less of an emphasis on like needing experience and education to get a job in something here. Like I don't know how it would have been if I would have stayed in the US, but like I didn't have the experience when I left the US to like get a job in marketing or start and run my own business. And now, having been in Sweden for a long time, I've already built up those skills. So I guess if I were to go back to the US, now I have the experience. But I feel like in Sweden, it's more about like, what can you do? Not like, where did you study? At our tech company.
Totally. I can freaking agree so much with this. Like nobody's asking you like what is your degree or something. It's actually what can you do? Like how can you do? It happened to me with like also digital marketing. So because I work as a digital marketing specialist, and I don't really have that background. I have some for email marketing, but not all I do right now. And it's because I am having this possibility right now.
I think there's just like this really like great attitude in Sweden that like if you're interested in it, like you can do it, and you don't need to study for like 4 or 5 years necessarily.
Yeah,
do it.
you can. It's always a plus, but like
Yeah.
it's so open for like further opportunities and career growth.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Depends on the career too. Like if
Yeah,
you're gonna be a
yeah,
nurse or
sure.
a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
still need to have the like
Yeah.
education to be able to do all those things. But like to work in the business world, it's just like being able to show like what you've done is the most important thing. I'd say.
Yeah, same happened to me. It was like I was like into translation, and I ended up with like within marketing and digital marketing, and it's just so fascinating, and I'm not changing it. Like I'm only like growing and studying and learning, and there's so many opportunities, and it's like, oh, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Do you want to take that project? And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I'm grabbing it all.
Yeah, it's crazy because we both manifested
Yeah.
careers in marketing
Yeah.
based off of our interests. Because like
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
first met you, you were like interested in getting into YouTube and all of these things, and it was the same for me. Like when I moved here without any experience, I was like, how do I make videos? How do I write copy? How do I do everything? You know?
Yeah.
And it's funny
Like,
how
oh my
like
God.
YouTube has like taken us both into that career path.
I swear freaking God, in my like like previous position, I had an opportunity to like create some videos because of my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And like so many people like reached out to me through LinkedIn as well, like, oh, you saw your videos, this and that, you're just amazing or something. I was like, damn, pinch me, I don't believe it. When it comes to relationships, how did that change you? What do you think, like, do you think there is like a huge difference between US and Sweden? Do you think you prefer dating people here, or do you think people here are like better, fit you better than Americans?
Yeah.
How did that change?
I would say that for me, when it comes to dating, I think I would have a hard time dating like an American girl that's never traveled and never been outside of the US. But the same goes on this side. Like, I wouldn't want to date a Swedish girl that's never left Sweden and has no concept of international perspective. And my girlfriend now is like, her parents are from Iran. She's born and raised in Sweden. And so we have a lot of like relatable experiences of like coming from two different cultures, and like kind of crazy, like if we ever have kids someday, it's gonna be like a German, Italian, Iranian, Swedish,
But that's so amazing.
American kid. One thing I've realized about myself is that when I'm single, I'm like on the hunt.
You're ready to mingle.
Like I'm ready to mingle. Like I am like trying
Oh my God, it's so loud.
because I want like to find my partner, you know? And then not my partner, but I'm like I really want to find like my person, right? And then when I find my person, I go like full business mode. I'm like, all right, girlfriend, check.
But when it comes to, for example, friends-wise, do you think you made more friends here, like lifetime friends, and why as well?
Yeah. Stockholm's a pretty international city, so I have friends from all over the world living here, which is really great. A lot of Swedish friends, American friends, Australia, France, Spain, you name it. Like that's one thing I love about Stockholm is how international of a community it has. In terms of my closest friends now, I would say they're all in Sweden because I haven't even been back to the US in 2 years. I think I just made a video about this. I talk about like why is it hard to make friends in Sweden. So that's one thing that goes in deep, but one of the things I cover is like how there's people stick to their groups. Like they have their work friends, they have their sports friends, they have their old high school friends, and they don't like mix and match as much as like people from the US or like my mindset. So I could tend to be like a connector.
There's one thing to wrap up this video. I was thinking about, I think in one of your videos you mentioned that Sweden is also made you a bit more calmer, like more like, you know, appreciating more the peace, like calmness.
You always become a product of your environment. So I think like growing up, I was more
shaping over here.
Yeah, exactly. Like growing up, I was more like on the introverted side of the spectrum, and I was like, I want to be more social, so I joined a fraternity in college. And
oh my God, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Only on movies.
Yeah, it's like that basically. Like living in a house with 60 guys, going to lots of parties, social events, sports, all day long. And basically after that, my parents were like, wow, you're so much more social now, because I was in that environment around people all the time. And then after moving to Sweden, it's, I think, made me maybe slightly less social. Obviously, like if you compare like day to day living with tons of rowdy college boys to like living in a calm, peaceful, quiet place where people don't small talk as much.
Even in Stockholm, like the biggest city in Sweden,
Biggest
it's still crowded, but it's not as crowded.
Exactly. And relating it to Barcelona, like when I was in Barcelona for a few months last winter, it's tiring. Like,
yeah, it's exhausting.
had I come directly from my college days to Barcelona, I would have been like, oh, this is fine. But like, now that I've gotten used to the calm, relaxing lifestyle, going and being away from that for a long time, it's difficult.
I can relate so much, and I appreciate it so much here as well. Like the peace, like I just love it so much. Definitely, I like Barcelona so much. Everyone knows. I just repeat it like a freaking parrot, but it's true. But like when it comes to people and people everywhere, it's just freaking exhausting. Like I get anxiety almost. Like it's just...
And the pickpockets. That's I'm never relaxed. And
tips if you guys travel to Barcelona.
I mean, here in Sweden, like I was just at the spa the other day. My Swedish friend just leaves her phone and a key to her locker on her like bed by the pool, and then she goes into the sauna where she can't even see. She's like, oh, nobody's gonna take her brand new iPhone 14 Pro. I was like, you would never do that in Barcelona. Just leave it there and walk off and not have it in your sight. And like,
it would disappear in a second, I swear to God.
I got my old, like 2-year-old iPhone 12. I'm like, I'm not leaving that exposed even in Sweden, all right? Like, we're not risking it. But that's,
it's true. It's so true.
Just a different mindset.
What would you say as a general thought or like a general quote? How would you wrap up this video? What would you say? Like, what is like the highlight of your life so far here? Like,
yeah, I would say that there is sometimes times where I am like sick of Sweden, when it's like dark, it's cold, November, January, like these months where you just like, you have a long winter ahead, and I'm just like not looking forward to it. But like outside of those times, like I really am pretty happy. And I have to say, like, the fact that I was able to get away from some of the like darkest times last winter and then coming back to it, I was like, wow, I mean, Sweden, such a unique, special place. And I think now whenever I like go away from Sweden, I always appreciate coming back to it. Like, it always feels like home.
This was so cool video. I think it was nice talk, and I really like wanted to bring up this kind of, you know, more like a talk, like hear your thoughts.
Thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure.
Bye.